Okay, so I'm admitting everyone in.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's go.
So I'm admitting everyone in.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's go.
Okay, sorry, just it's a book. So can you admit them from your end? Hello, sir. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Please confirm that you can hear me. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kunle. Is it Mr. Kunle? I'm hearing somebody say we can hear you. Thank you for confirming that you can hear me. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, from wherever you're joining us from. I'm trying to get this to start playing. Oh no. I'm having a little tech-ish here. Welcome, everyone. Please tell us where you're joining us from in the chat as you're coming in. Let us know where you're joining us from. Please type in the chat. We're looking into the chat. I'm looking into the chat. I see a number of people in the room. Dominique, Dumo, Atinuke. Oh, London, Houston, Texas. Wow. Wow. Thank you. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. I'm looking into the chat. Adam, you're welcome from London. Dominic from Houston. Odette from Lagos, thank you for joining us. Wendy from Houston, thank you for joining us. Who else is in the room? Let us know you're in the room. Tell us where you're joining us from. Lagos, the US, the UK. It's a global community, so we're looking out to see where you're joining us from. Just put it in the chat for me, and I'll read it out once I say it. It's a beautiful night. Thank you for joining us for the webinar. It's going to be a great, great, great time. I hope you're ready. Right, Dumo from Ogun State, thank you for joining us. And if you know anyone that should be in the room, please let them know that we're ready, we're live already. Yes, yes. Okay, Foluke from Ogun State, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. So great to have you. We have a number of people from the Nigerian community, from US. Thank you for joining us, everyone. You see, Coach is live. Coach is ready for us tonight, and our speaker is also in the room, so it's going to be a powerful night. I hope you're ready with your notes. You're ready with everything that would give you a distraction-free environment. So get set. I'll be handing over to Coach right away. Good evening, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Can you let me know if you can hear me loud and clear? Can you just type 1111 in the chat box? Just for me to see that you can hear me loud and clear. There you go. Thank you very much, Dumo. It's good to see you. Can you let me know, everyone in the chat room, if you can hear me, if it's very loud and clear? Thank you for looking. Thank you, Kunle. Everyone, let me know. Thank you, Wendy. It's great to be here. It's great to have. This is our first webinar in 2025. We had amazing 12 webinars last year, and we're kicking off today. And I can tell you, our guest speaker is already here. She's already right in the house. She is going to be spitting fire. I was actually chatting with her just moments before we started. I was like, Coach Fire Speeder, have you started? That's the second person I'm giving that title to today. So it's going to be an amazing session. We're not going to waste too much of your time. We're aware we're in different time zones all over the world. I think I can see 3 different continents here. I can see people from North America. I can see people from Europe, and we've got a few people from Nigeria. We're also streaming live on YouTube as well. So we've got quite a few people on YouTube as well. So please, if there is somebody that you know that needs to be here, please just tell them whatever they do, it is free. They can register, they can jump on, or they could just go right to the YouTube and watch us live on YouTube as well. We're streaming live to YouTube. Why is it very, very important? The reason it's very important is very, very simple. See, Abraham Lincoln said something. Abraham Lincoln said, if I have 6 hours to cut down a tree, he said, I'm going to spend the first 4 hours in my tool. And my favorite, there's this quote from my favorite book. It says something. It says, if the axe is dull and the edges is unsharpened, he said, much strength is required. He said, but with skill, success comes easily. One of the problems in which we've seen that happens in life most of the time there is when we start the year very pumped up. We have so much dream. That is when, gym membership skyrockets. Everybody's got a list of everything they want to do. Everybody wants to conquer the world and all of that there. We start the year so powerful. But by the time we sit down at the end of the year to take stock of actually what have we actually achieved, we eventually find out that we've not really achieved quite a lot. And then we begin to wonder what happened, where did it go wrong? Most of the time, our execution is where the problem is. We dream a lot, we're good dreamers, but the problem we have there is we're not excellent at executing. When it comes to doing, we have a problem with doing. So today, I've brought a specialist in the house today, teach us how for us to, we've dreamt about it, we dream it, we've planned it, but the most important thing there is, like Nike says, is how do we just do it? And she's going to be dishing out the practical steps in terms of how do you go from the point of in 2025, I'm dreaming big, I want to achieve this, to be able to know that, okay, this is how I'm going to execute and do the dreams in which I have for 2025. See, it is good to dream, but trust me, the world is not in short supplies of dreamers. That is one thing that the world is not in short supply of, but there is something that the world is in short supply of. They are called the doers. The world is in short supply of people we refer to as what? As doers. There are very few people. And my favorite book says something. It is not he that actually hears the word, it is he that does it. So today we're going to bring in on Coach Patience Tanko, who is going to be setting the place on fire for the next 35 minutes. Please grab your pen. I've got mine here. Grab your journal and please stay glued. And when I mean stay glued, please stay glued. So before we start, let's play the introductory video. We've got a video for her. I hope the tech is allowing us to be able to do that. So here we go. So ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts. Like the pilot says, the plane is about to take off.
Patience Tanko is a dedicated financial and wealth strategist passionate about empowering individuals to heal money trauma, master their finances, and live their true wealthy lives. She believes that financial freedom begins with understanding and reshaping deeply rooted beliefs about money, enabling her clients to move from financial stress to confidence and control. Through her expertise, Patience Tanko offers actionable strategies to help individuals build financial literacy, develop healthy money habits, and break free from limiting financial patterns. Her holistic approach addresses not just the practical side of money management, but also the emotional and psychological barriers that hold people back. By empowering her clients to align their finances with their goals and values, Patience Tanko helps them create sustainable wealth and a life of abundance. Her mission is to transform financial mindsets, foster empowerment, and guide individuals toward living their most fulfilled, wealthy lives.
Thank you very much, team. That is amazing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please, with a round of applause, please, you better be clapping in the chat room, be that on the face, on YouTube, or on here, as I speak to the amazing coach, Patience Tanko. Coachy, how are you doing? It's good to see you today.
I
I've got
am
to say, and thank you
well.
so much for the time. People are ready. People are hungry. I am ready. I am hungry for you because I know you're well prepared. We're ready to go. Thank you very much, Wendy, Akasiasinike. Everyone is saying we're ready to go, Kochi. And trust me, she delivers every time. Before we actually start, before I give you the floor, why do you think we struggle to get things done at the end of the year? We start the year, statistics actually shows that gym membership skyrockets in the beginning of the year. By the time it's March, it all drops down by the end of March. Why is it that we actually struggle to actually, go for that from that stage of dreaming it? Everybody's a dreamer. Like I said, the world is not in short supply of dreamers. So please, if you're a dreamer, please, there are so many dreamers in the world to the point where we're planning it. We have some excellent planners in the world. But the point there is we have very few achievers. That means there are very few people that can execute with precision and panache. Why is that?
Hi, everybody. So that's a very good question. And like you said, we have a lot of dreamers. We love to dream. And I was thinking about it the other day. We have a lot of dreamers, but not a lot of planners. And then we barely have executors. So a lot of people stop at the dreaming phase. We dream all this good stuff. We see all these good things that we want to achieve. And then we sit there for so long. We just like sit there and we're processing it. But like we spoke about the other day, one of the big things is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure. And for some of us, is our limiting beliefs, is the mindsets that we've carried for so long that keeps holding us back. So we're thinking about, what if I try this and it doesn't work out? How would you know if it's going to work out or not if you don't even try it? Right? So, like the good book says, we're scared to go out because we say there's a lion out there. And then we stay stuck in the house because we're scared if we go out, that lion might just eat us up. How about you just try to go out and see if there's a way you can dodge that lion, or you might be another David, So that fear is what keeps a lot of people stuck in their head. I'm afraid of what people will say. Oh, patience. Is it that patience? Can you imagine? Even she said now one day, coach, sorry, you guys are Nigerians. Pardon me. You'll hear that every now and then, But that fear and limiting belief are two things that I've seen over and over, even with my clients. I have clients that sit with me and they have all these amazing ideas, all these things I know they can do. But once we begin to dig deep, I see self-doubt showing up. And that self-doubt stems from their limiting beliefs, the things they've heard, the things they've been told before that they haven't even realized is what is holding them bound. So I feel like for some of us, we just have to get past that fear and then deal with our limiting beliefs to know that, you know what, I'm more than this. And what's the worst that can happen? I tell people, what's the worst that can happen? Go out there, try it out. If you fail, then, or if it doesn't work out, because it's not really failure, you're just learning how not to do this thing again. And now you can teach someone else and say, you know what, I tried it that way, it did not work out, I think this is the way we try it out, and you will succeed. One of the things I've seen, the achievers, the high flyers, are people that have mastered how to show up consistently. They're not perfect.
Oh, coach. Oh, I told you she was spitfire.
Okay.
You could see she's already in the zone. So, coach, let me slow you down a bit there, because
Okay.
you touched on something very powerful. Several researchers have actually shown that when people are on their dying bed, more than anything else, they have to pass on. There's one thing that is common and consistent: the regrets of what they did not attempt.
Yeah.
The would have, should have, could have is the greatest regret people have. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, Coach is ready to go. I could see I had to reel her in there, else trust me, she would explode. So I'm gonna give her the floor to just give us everything. And please, can you begin to have your questions in the chat room? When she's done through the presentation, walking us through, we will take a couple of questions from YouTube and from here as well. And then we give a few people, if you're online, you have some questions, a chance for you to actually access and ask your questions. Now we take it from there. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hand you over to Coach Patience Stanko.
Thank you so much, Coach Mo. Once again, thank you for this opportunity. And hi, everybody. How are we all doing? How is our Sunday going? I had to run in here, Coach Mo. I'm like, because I served today in church and I kept looking at the time, like, okay, guys, I have to go now. I have to go now. So I was able to make it through. I'm back here. But thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not going to waste so much time. We're going to go right into it. And like Coach Mo said, if you have any questions, please type your questions and we will get to it at the end of the presentation. I really, really love this theme, and there's no better time to talk about this than now because, again, think about it. We want to dream it. It's a good thing to dream, but we go past dreaming and we have a plan. Once we have a plan, what's the next thing? We need to do it. Okay, we need to show up and do it. And we want to create goals that sticks in 2025, goals that we actually follow through so that when we get to the end of December, we can say, oh my God, I was able to do all of these things and I'm here right now. And so I want to start by saying that your goal or your vision should actually be bigger than the present. If you're sitting here and you're looking at your list and everything you have is not bigger than where you are right now, I want you to begin to think as we go through. And I'm not one of those that say, oh, your dreams will have to scare you. They don't have to scare you necessarily. They just have to be something that is truly bigger than you and you're willing to go out there to make it happen. Okay, so let me see if I have permission to share my screen. Okay, I do. Let me pull up my screen here. All right. Sorry, pardon me, my screen. I got all kinds of things going on. Okay, so I'm gonna take you through the slides I created. And please, please, please pardon my slides. I'm not good with slides, but I had to create one for you all. All right. My name is Patience Stanko, and we want to create goals that sticks this year. If you have your goal list, I want you to bring it out. If you're where you can bring it out, because some of us have what we call a to-do list. What you have is not a goal list. Okay, so as we go through this again, I want you to begin to think about it. I'll take us through a little bit of exercise as we go through so you can actually streamline your goals to something that you can work on. So we want to create goals that stick, and I want you to be able to achieve your goals in 2025. And with us doing this, you have to have a plan. Imagine now we're setting out on a trip. I say, okay, we're going to go on vacation. And I just say we're going to go on vacation and that's it. Where are we going to? What country are we going to? How are we going to get there? We have to have a plan. So we want to go to South Africa. South Africa is the destination. How are we going to get to South Africa? Are we going to walk to South Africa? Are we going to fly to South Africa? So now I know that I'm headed to South Africa, but I want to fly to South Africa. When do we want to go to South Africa? Okay, now I want to go to South Africa in March. So now I have a plan. My plan is to go to South Africa in March. When in March? March 31st, right? And I'm flying to South Africa. What airline am I going to board to get to South Africa? This is where planning comes into play because I've already had the dream of traveling to South Africa for vacation. That's the dream level. And now I'm putting in the plan. What do I need? What are the details that I need? We need to get from the US to South Africa. So there's a gap, which is US to South Africa. And these are the little details I need to get to South Africa. I need to book a flight. What airline am I going with? What date am I going? What flight? All of those things. You put all of those details down, and then I have a plan. What's going to happen if the 31st of March gets here and I don't leave my house and I stay at home and I don't go anywhere? What's going to happen at that point? It's not going to happen. I'm not going to go on that trip, right? So I have had a plan. I had the dream of going to South Africa. I did put a plan in place, but I didn't take any action to get me to South Africa. So for me to get to South Africa, I have to leave my house, probably drive myself to the airport and park there, or take a ride to the airport. I get to the airport, I go there and I check in. Once I'm checked in, I go to my gate and I board my flight to South Africa. Then I will get to South Africa. You see, now I have executed on my plan to get to South Africa. So basically, to be able to achieve our goals, to be able to achieve our desires that we want for 2025, there has to be a level of execution. And I like to say, when we want to execute, we want to trust God to be able to execute with excellence, because that's what we've been called to do. Right? So success is a journey, is not a destination. We're on a journey to success, because if you would agree with me here, there's certain things in your life that you said, oh, I want to get to this point. And once you get to that point, you're like, oh my God, I need to stretch it. Or I want to make a 6-figure income. And then you hit 6-figure and you're like, okay, I want to do a little bit more. I want to get to 7-figure. So once it's not a destination, you get to that point and then it changes. You improve on it, you tweak it. Okay. So why do we realize that our goals fail? Coach Mo asked me a question and I said, sometimes it's fear, it's limiting beliefs, self-doubt and all that. And we have all of these goals. We write them down at the beginning of the year and we get to November and we're like, nothing happened. Oh my God, nothing happened. And this is why goals fail. Lack of clarity. We don't have a clear vision of what we want to do. Okay, so because we don't really know where we're headed to, we don't know our destination, we don't know how to go about it. So this makes goals to fail because you don't have clarity. Your vision is not clear. You haven't written the vision down. You haven't made it plain yet. We have unrealistic expectations where we have these big goals. It's good to be ambitious, but we have to be realistic based on where we're at right now and the resources at our disposal. So if we're creating a goal, we're going to factor all of these things before we create our goal. Absence of a clear plan. I just gave you a scenario. If you don't have a clear plan, you don't get to where you want to get to. So people we have these goals written down, but we don't have a roadmap on how to achieve or attain these things. So that's some of the reasons why we see people fail with their goals, and we don't have an accountability system. So I write my goals and I have them here. I haven't said it to Coach Mo, or I haven't said it to Odetta that these are my goals for 2025, so that she holds me accountable and she checks in with me. Or Ms. Folukia says, Patience, what's up? I know that you said your goal is to read 4 books in a month. How far? How many have you read yet? There's nobody holding you accountable. So when you don't read, nobody's asking you questions and you're like, okay, I didn't read in January. You know what? Anyway, next year, I'll just wait for next year and I'll start reading. We need an accountability system, either in a form of a person or a system, okay? And failure to be consistent. We struggle to stay consistent. We start today, something happened, and then we drop the towel and we're like, I'll continue next time. So these are all the reasons why goals fail. And so our goal is to make sure that we factor all of these things in creating our goals for 2025. So when we dream it, you want to have a very clear picture, a clear vision. One of the reasons why goals fails is because they don't align with our overall vision, with your life vision. We all have a vision. We have a mandate on the earth. What's your mandate? What's your calling? What's your ultimate purpose? Your goals should always align to that. Okay, so you have to be very, very clear. I know last year I took out time, I think it was in November or so. I took out time, I went to the hotel and I was there, and it was just me praying and saying, okay, God, what's the vision? What's the goal? What are we doing in 2025? If I bought a brand new notebook when I was going, and I started to write as he was telling me. And I realized that some of the things he was telling me were aligned with things he had told me before about what he has called me to do. So your vision, your goal should align with your vision and your values. So the first thing I want you to do as we're having this conversation is ask yourself where you're seated right now. What do I truly want to achieve in 2025? What's going to inspire me and excite me for 2025? And I want you to think about 3 things. What are the 3 things that if I do, I will be the most happiest person on the earth? Think about it. 3 things. I just want you to think about 3 things. What are these 3 things? If it's in the area of my spirituality, what do I need to do? What do I want to achieve spiritually? Do I want to get closer to God? Do I want to be the person that studies the word in 2025? What's your goal with that, right? If it's financially, what's your goal? What do you want to achieve financially? Do I want to be on a journey to financial independence? Is that my goal for 2025? Do I want to be financially free in 2025? Or do I want to add 3 zeros to my current income or 6 zeros to my current income? What do I want to achieve that will make me happy? You know, I've struggled financially. I just want to be financially free in 2025. I want to get to December and be like, ooh, I didn't worry about money this year. It feels good. Or my family is my top priority for 2025. I want to spend more time with my kids. I want to hang out with my husband. I want to build a better relationship, or I want to get married in 2025. So once you have all of this, now you know what you want to do. You have set clear goals for yourselves, and your goals, like I said, would align with your purpose. So I know I have a friend who is very good, very smart, very intelligent, but his ultimate goal is impact. So if you tell him, oh, we have this project we need to work on that will give us XYZ amount of money, he's not driven. It doesn't excite him. He's not motivated by money, right? Because it doesn't align with his goal. What motivates him is if you say, you know what, this project, once we execute this project, we're going to get XYZ amount of money, and then we can help these people to change their life. Guess what? He will jump up and do that project. So that is why your goals should align with, because otherwise you will get burnt out. You will get frustrated because you're doing this thing it doesn't give you joy. It doesn't excite you. I'm doing this because of the money, but my goal is to spend time with my family. So your goals should be catered in a way that reflects your purpose and your values. Okay, so if your family is your priority, you're making money because you want to give them the best of life and you want to spend more time with them. Okay, I'm breaking this down so you would understand when you're setting your goals to think about all of these pointers, and then you visualize success. What does your ideal life look like? And I will take us through a minute of an exercise. I want you, where you're seated, to close your eyes for me for a second. Just close your eyes where you're at. If you have distractions, I want you to just, put them away, put them away, put them away, put them away. Just close your eyes for a minute. And I want you to visualize what you want your life to look like in 2025. What will give you the utmost joy at the end of 2025? Think about it for a minute and picture it in front of you. Picture God handing that thing over to you. If it's a new job, a new career, just picture that God just handed it over to you and you see yourself walking into that organization. Or if your goal is to create a multi-7-figure, multi-8-figure empire, see that being handed over to you. And if it's your family, I want you to see yourself going on that trip with them, where money is not a problem, where you can swipe your card and you're just going on that vacation with your family. What feeling are you getting from you seeing yourself experiencing all of these beautiful things? How does that make you feel? I want you to tell me in the comment section, how did that make you feel? Seeing yourself living the life that you desire. How did that make you feel? Are you here or you're not here? Okay, nobody's here. Am I the only person here, or we're still visualizing? Are we still visualizing peace? I love that. Peace. Happy and fulfilled. I love that. Accomplished. I love that. Fulfilled. I love that. It felt real. That's right. It felt real. Accomplished. Just fulfilling and so good. Just seeing yourself living that life, and every now and then, awesome. Yes. Brought it to life. Yeah. So you sit down, you visualize yourself that these are the things. And imagine if you have so many things on your list, you cannot even visualize it. If the things on your list are like 12, how can you visualize those 12 things? It's going to be overwhelming. So we want to create goals that we can really run with, goals that it felt fulfilling and really good. And it is possible for us to actually bring it to reality. It is possible. Just sitting down and visualizing what your ideal life looks like, right? And so we're able to achieve all of our dreams today. And we know we always hear this SMART goals, SMART goals. I want you to think, I'm going to just talk about this briefly because we know about it. I want you to begin to think that as I'm setting these goals, I have to set smarter goals. Okay, I have to be really specific on what I want to achieve. And I don't want you to say, I want to make money in 2025. $100 is money. So if you make $100, you have made money in 2025. So you have to be specific. I want to make $1 million in 2025. Now you're very specific as to what you want to make. Okay. And then it has to be measurable. How would you be able to track your progress? Some people are scared of measuring their goals to check in and see if, how did I do this year? Where am I on my journey? Right. But you have to make sure that they're measurable. Okay. So I want to make $1 million in 2025, but I want to make $1 million by November 30th of 2025. You're very specific. So now when you're breaking down your goal, you know what to look out for every month. You have the metrics to follow. Okay. Are you following? If you're following, say following in the comment section. Let me know that you're following me. Are you following? Right. Thank you. All right. So you have to, and they have to be realistic based on what you currently have. Some of us, again, it's good to dream. It's good to have, if you know me very well, I'm that girl that dreams big. Oh my God. The kind of things I imagine and I think of. But at the same time, you want to look at it and say, okay, I have to create my goals in a way that they are achievable. They're not something out. You can't wake up today and say, my goal in 2025 is to have the kind of money that Elon Musk has. Like, come on, man. I'm not saying it won't happen. It can happen in the next couple of years if you do the right thing. But you can't say in this 12 months, I want to, miracle happens all the time. But again, I want you to be realistic and do something, write goals that are achievable. Because if they're cumbersome, if they're out of this world, even you yourself, you will look at it and say, I lied to myself, and then you will dump it and run. And that's not what we want, and it has to be relevant. It has to be, it has to link to your overall vision so that you're excited, you're still going, you're pushing through. We spoke about time bound. It has to have a deadline. You have to have a deadline because it helps you kick procrastination away if you have a deadline. If you don't have a deadline, you say, oh, my goal is to make $1 million. By when? We don't have a deadline. You will keep trying for that $1 million for the next 10 years. If it doesn't happen, you will continue to try. But if you have a deadline, you say by November, by December 31st, I should have made $1 million. Then you're checking in consistently to see, am I on track? How much have we made as a company? What have we made? Or if your goal is to be healthier, you're looking at it, okay, how am I eating? Am I eating healthier meals? Now you're checking. Am I working out? What am I doing? You can measure what you're doing to see if you're working on what you're supposed to be working on. And does it spark enthusiasm in you? Is it exciting? Your goal should be exciting. When you look at it, sometimes I would sit at home and I would scream. And my kids will come and say, Mom, are you okay? I'm like, I'm okay. I just thought of something, or I just got a vision, or something just dropped in my spirit. And you're like, but you screamed and I'm like, yeah, because I'm excited. The future I see is exciting, you know? So it has to be something exciting, something that inspires you to keep showing up, to wake up in the morning and hit the ground running, right? And you want to review it regularly. We want to review, evaluate, adjust, tweak it, whatever needs to be changed, we change it, just to be able to achieve the goals that we truly have set for ourselves. So what I just covered is how you dream it. So once you're done dreaming, you say, okay, Patience, I already have that dream. Now, how do I plan it, right? So we go to the point where we want to execute, okay? So this is the framework to execute. You want to break down your goals, okay? Divide your big goals. So again, maybe I'm sharing with you guys one of my goals, right? So the goal is to hit 7-figure this year. That's about nothing less than $1 million, right? So that is a big goal. But how can I make $1 million in 2025? You want to divide big goals into small actionable steps. So now I know what I want. The next thing is to break it down. Patience, how much do you need to make every month to be at $1 million by December minimum? Now I take $1 million and I divide it by 12. So whatever goal you have written, and if you haven't, get a piece of paper, and as we're talking, scribble some of your 3 goals, because I'll ask a few people here if they've been able to streamline their goals at the end of the call. So scribble down the goals you're thinking about, the 3 major things or 5 major things. Your goals should not be more than 5 things, because we want to achieve them. If you look at all the years that you haven't achieved anything, it's because you had a long to-do list and you were not able to execute on them. So we break them down. So my goal is $1 million minimum, divide by 12. It gives, I think it's about $80-something thousand monthly. Once I get that, I divide it by 4 weekly, right? Okay, this is how much I need to make weekly. Based on what I do as a coach, as a trainer, as a speaker, what do I need to do every week to bring in this income? Do I need to speak somewhere and they pay me? How much should I have to make? Do I need to sell some of my coaching services? How many do I need to sell every week? You see, now I'm breaking it down into smaller steps, actionable steps. Once I've done that, I will now break it down to daily actions, which we will talk about shortly. Daily actions. What do I need to do every day? To achieve your goals, you have to have plans and tactics to be able to achieve them. You have to put them down. We have to break them down into little steps. So depending on what you want, if your goal is family time, then you're going to say, my goal is I'm going to spend 2 weekends with my family. I want to take them out on a date, on a lunch date, on a dinner date, or on a weekend, on a staycation, whatever it is, but twice a month. Now you've broken it down. I will spend 2 weekends with my family. After you've done that, are we going out of town? Are we staying in town? How much will it cost us? We have broken all of this down. Then you assign deadlines to each step. If your goal is to start a business, right? My goal is to start a business in 2025. I will create a business plan. So by the end of February 2025, I would have created that business plan. By the end of February 2025, I would have registered the business, have a legal name for it. Those are all steps that you're breaking down, right? If I need to get grants by March, I would have put in my applications for grants. Now you have a deadline. And like I said, with deadlines, it helps you overcome procrastination because you have a date you're working with. You know that by this timeline, I should have done X, Y, Z. If I haven't done it and I go to sit down to review it, then it's showing me that I'm not doing anything. Results comes from action. Results comes from action. It is your daily action that brings about the big results that we want. So if we're not executing, if we're not taking action, we will not see the results that we want. Okay? And use a planning tool if you need to. You can use a calendar, you can get an app, you can journal. I have books. In fact, I was telling somebody, I said, I think I have, there's something that draws me to books. I buy books all the time and I write. Anything that comes to mind, I'm writing. If God is saying something, I'm always writing, right? So you want to plan. Because if you have it in your head, my sister, my brother, you don't have it. When we ask you, you will begin to fumble, or you get a word and you don't put it down. Next week, with everything going on, you might not necessarily remember it. So you want to write it down, write the vision down, so that if you're working with a team of people, they can read it and know where you're going to. They can understand the vision. If it's just in your head, and if all you have is a dream, then it's a wish. What you have is just a wish, right? Once you've done all of the things we just spoke about, then you want to prioritize effectively. In prioritizing effectively, you have to determine the things that are important and the things that are not. So you want to use the 80-20 rule. Focus on actions that deliver the biggest results, because 80% of the results that we get comes from 20% of our effort. Did you get that? So don't get overwhelmed and say that, oh my God, there's too much to do. I don't have to, breathe. 80% of our results comes from 20% of our action. And that is why they say the wealthiest place on the earth is in the graveyard. You know why? Because we haven't even executed at 1% yet. There's what we're capable of doing, and there's what we're doing. A lot of us are just doing, we're not doing what we're capable of doing. Okay? But if you would just say, okay, I will give it my best shot with what I have, you will see results. Okay? So in the quest to achieving our goals, we want to focus on actions that will give us daily results. What does that look like for you? If you're in a business where you need to sell a lot of products, that is your biggest goal. How do I put my products in front of people? Because that is what will bring in the cash flow, right? So whatever you don't have to do yourself, you delegate and focus on the big things. I call it income producing activities. What are the income producing activities for you? If Coach Mo is a good teacher, if he coaches well and teaches us about digital assets, then he shouldn't be worried about the structure of the webinar. He shouldn't be worried about sending emails to anybody. His focus would be, how do I get myself in front of more people to educate them? How do I educate people on finances and how this works? So you have to focus on what brings about the biggest results for you in achieving your goal. Determine what the non-negotiables are every week. So today is Sunday. Sit down in the evening today and review the week coming and say, okay, these are the non-negotiables. I have to reach out to 20 clients. I have to follow up with 20 old clients as well. I have to try to get 10 speaking engagements this week. So you're going to write them out and say, these are the non-negotiables. If I haven't done this, I will not go to sleep. Now you break it down to how many people do I need to call a day? Or how many people do I need to reach out to? Or I'm supposed to be writing my book this year, 2025. How many chapters? I have broken it down. The book should launch by August. And so I have to have it ready by June. Okay, what do I need to do between January and June to get my book out? How many pages do I need to write every single day? So writing 10 pages is non-negotiable. So if you haven't written your 10 pages a day, you have no business doing anything else. If that is your major goal, you have no business scrolling social media. You have no business being on a call with me for the next 1 hour and we're chit-chatting and laughing our heads off when we have something to do. Okay? So every single week, you come up with the non-negotiables and then the daily non-negotiables. Are you following? To be able to execute, because we want to get to the point where we're executing. So we prioritize effectively and then we schedule. You see, one of the problems we have again is we look at our goals and we're like, I'll get to them. No, you're going to schedule your goal-related task. Whatever thing, if you have 3 goals, what are the things that I must do every day to achieve these goals? You schedule them. You block your calendar. You block off your calendar. I call, there's a strategic block, there's the buffer block, and there's the breakout block. You block out a strategic block. I have my blocks. I haven't been following through, but I told myself, come 1st of February, I'll start following my blocks consistently. You know, the first, after my morning, I have a couple of hours in the day where I block it out. I'm going to focus on income producing activities. Okay, so you incorporate it into your schedule. You block out your calendar. Tell your PA, these 3 hours, don't schedule anything for me because I'm working on my goals, the things that I have to work on. Once you make it that way, you know that you can't do anything else because this time is blocked off. So no appointments, no calls. In fact, let me break it down. Okay, when you block out this time, the strategic time should be basically for important things that are non-negotiable, that are things that will get you closer to your goal. If you're writing a book, that should be when you're working on that book. If you're creating a new course, that is when you're working on that course material. If you're coaching someone, then focus on that. But at that point, you're not replying to emails. You're not looking at social media. None of those things. We're turning off every other thing and we're focused. And guess what? Research has shown us that people that do that they focus just 3 hours a day. Sometimes that 3 hours a week gives them a result that people don't get in a month. When you use your strategic block properly, okay? And then you give yourself a buffer block where you say, okay, I have 1 hour where I reply to emails, I scroll through social media. I won't tell you to get rid of everything. Sorry, excuse me, but give yourself time to do those things. Assign time for all of those things, okay? And then I'm going to talk about reward later because after doing all of these things, you want to be able to reward yourself, okay? I think I have to run fast. We don't have so much time again, right? So once you've been able to adequately plan, now we want to do, okay? Now we want to show up and do it. With everything I've given you in the dreaming part, in the planning part, what I just gave you in the planning part is part of the execution. You saw it say the execution framework. That is how to actually get up and execute by breaking down these steps into actionable steps and then committing to them, having those blocks on your schedule and then staying committed. This is where you say, regardless of what happens, I will do it. And I will build consistency and discipline. Discipline is basically you doing what you say you will do. So if you tell yourself, I'm going to read 4 books in a month, and you don't, then you're not disciplined. I'm not disciplined. And I confess that in the month of January, I wasn't disciplined. I'm supposed to do 4 books a month, but I don't even think I've done 2. Right? So that's not discipline. I have to be consistent. I have to stay disciplined. You have to establish daily habits that align with your goals. So based on the goals you have written for yourself to write that book, okay, that means that in a day, I will invest 2 hours to writing my book before anything else. If I don't do that, I can't go to sleep. Yes, you heard me right. If you don't execute what you're supposed to do for that day, you're not permitted to go to sleep. You can't go to sleep. You stay awake until you get it done. By the time you realize that if I don't do it, I can't go to sleep, you will start doing it early. And that is why it's good to have an accountability partner or somebody that will hold you accountable. Say, Patience, are you in bed? Have you read? No, jump out of bed. And then you jump out of bed. And you have to be very honest with yourself if you really want that change, if you really want to achieve your goal. So build consistency and discipline. Establish those daily habits that will take you to that point where you want to get to. Start small. You don't have to take on big tasks at the beginning. Start small. Start small. Start small. Coach Mo said, not just me. In fact, I need to be flogged. But we're going to come back stronger from February and make sure that we're because that's the only way we can achieve our results and make the impact that we want, right? So start small and build momentum. The thing is, once I found something with myself that sometimes I need to make calls and I'm struggling. I don't want to make those calls. I'm like, well, I'll start looking for excuses for myself, sorry. And then when I get to the point where I make the first call, the second call, I just get into the flow. I realize I don't even want to stop making the calls. I start making the calls. I'm just there making the call and I'm enjoying it. I'm excited. And let me give you one pro tip. If you have to make calls, right, to either your clients, don't sit down making those calls. Stand up. Stand up so that your energy level will be high. Be excited. Let that excitement come through the call. So get on, stand and start making those calls. Before you know, the same thing when you start reading. Sometimes I don't feel like reading, and I get my book and I start reading, and it's so interesting that I don't want to drop the book. I go to the restroom, I'm reading, and I'm like, why didn't I start reading this book all this while? So once you start small, we're able to build the momentum. And once you build that momentum, we do everything to keep it going, okay? Create rituals, create habits that helps you to consistently execute. You want to create habits that helps you to consistently execute. What are the habits that you need to create? If your goal is to read, let's say, again, 4 books a week, and you say, I'm spending 1 hour every day to read. Once you wake up in the morning, you say your morning prayer. If you don't work out, if you work out, whatever your routine is, but commit to whatever habit you're creating, right? So if I wake up and I'm done, then I sit down and I read. I'm not going to go to my phone, because the next thing you do, you open Facebook and you're like, oh, okay. And sometimes you lie to yourself. You say, they are teaching something good. Is that the time to listen to that something good? Or you say, it's preaching. Oh, is that the time you've allocated to listen to a sermon? If it's not, put it down and read 1 hour before. All things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. I think we read that in the good book, right? All things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. So there's time for everything. So once you begin to create these rituals and you're committing to it, before you know it, you get the hang of it. You become the master of your own game, and that is what separates the executors and those that don't do anything. Is because they show up consistently. They build that level of consistency and say, you know what, no matter what happens, I'm going to do this. Like, even sometimes I'm doing something and I tell my kids, I said, well, if you come here, except if somebody is bleeding, if nobody is bleeding, don't show up here. Tell yourself the same thing. Except if somebody, as long as I haven't done this thing, I cannot go to sleep. I'm not permitted to sleep. So by the time you start checking yourself, you will make sure that you're following through to everything that you've allocated and you've assigned for yourself. And will there be obstacles? Yes. One of the things that will help you is envisage them before they come. Identify potential roadblocks. I'm talking about social media. Unfortunately for us, we need social media, but at the same time, it's killing us. We go on social media, we spend our whole day there, and we realize that the day has gone. I haven't even achieved anything. So if social media is a roadblock, there are apps that lock you out of social media. Download those apps on your phone and set a timer. When it's your strategic block, say, during this time, my social media should shut down so I can't do anything on social media. Right? If time management is your problem, now you begin to ask yourself, how can I manage my time effectively? You say, okay, I will walk for 30 minutes and then play for 5 minutes, and make sure you stick to it. There's so many methods that we can use, but just go beyond saying I will to actually doing. One of the ways you can do that is write. I am an overcomer. I'm able to execute effectively. For me, I even incorporated in my prayers. I say I receive grace to execute effectively. I come against the spirit of procrastination that is fighting my life and my destiny. So you begin to tell yourself all of these things and you write them down and you begin to believe them. Your subconscious mind begins to believe it as well. I'm not talking about mindset. That's another teaching I do. But today we're not talking about mindset and limiting beliefs, but you want to reframe those. Okay, I'll touch on it if I have time, but just deal with limiting beliefs, reframe them, the things that are telling you can't. I am telling you today that you can. You've got all it takes on your inside to be anything that you've seen when you closed your eye. You have everything on your inside to achieve it. Develop strategies to deal with setbacks, okay? Develop strategies. Sometimes you're going on this route and then it's not working. You sit down, you review, you analyze it. Is there a problem? Most times, sometimes we jump on changing our plan. But sometimes it's not the plan, it's the execution. So before you change your plan, ask yourself, have I worked the plan out to see that it's the problem? If you haven't, leave the plan alone and focus on execution. Did you catch that? The problem is not with the plan. The problem is with the execution. So if you're not seeing the results that you want, you probably are not executing the way you should. So it's time to sit down and execute properly. So go back and look at everything and say, okay, where am I missing it here? Review it. Okay, I need to pivot here. This one is not working. I see that the plan I have here, I have executed consistently, but I'm hitting a roadblock. Let me take another turn. It's okay. It's okay to always pivot. Okay, it's either we have a plan problem or an execution problem. But 90% of the time, what we have is an execution problem, not a plan problem. Did you get that? And practice self-compassion on yourself. It's progress over perfection. We're not trying to be perfect. Yes, I'm a sucker for excellence. We want to be excellent, but not perfect. We're working towards perfection. I always say that the day the church becomes perfect, Christ is going to come for her groom. So we're working towards perfection, but we're not perfect. So what we focus on is progress, consistent progress, stacking it on. Just keep stacking. Just keep stacking. Just all the people that you see successful are not experts in their field. They only have mastered the skill of showing up consistently. Even go on social media, you're going to see people that you're like, this person's message is better than this person's message. How come everybody is following this person? Because they mastered the act of showing up consistently. They mastered the act of sharing their message. You have a good message, but we don't know what your message is. It's under your pillow. Or your mirror knows what your message is, but we don't know what your message is. So until you overcome that and start showing up consistently, things will not align. So they have mastered that skill of execution. No matter what happens, whether they are going to fail or not, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is I'm showing up and I'm doing it. And I want you to leave here today with that same mindset that it's not about whether I'm going to fail or not. And again, who says it's failure? It's not failure, right? I will show up and I will try. How would you know, if it's going to work or not if you don't show up and make it happen? How? Create an accountability system. Share your goals with a trusted friend or a coach. This is what I want to do. These are the things I want to achieve. Can you hold me accountable? Be very honest with that person. And then give yourself stick and carrot. Tell them, if I don't achieve XYZ, this is my punishment. This is the consequence for me. I like to eat out. I like to do my nails. I like to wear wig. If I don't do XYZ, in fact, yeah, let me give you guys a challenge. If you're on here, when you leave here, I want you to find an accountability partner. If you leave this call, and tell them, these are the things I want to achieve. If I don't achieve XYZ by so timeline, simply because I have refused to show up and execute, this is my stick. So I'm going to go without wig for the next 6 months. Or I'm not going to wear, whatever it is. If you're a dude that likes to eat out, Coach Mo, we're going to tell Coach Mo, if you don't execute, Coach Mo, no more eating out in a restaurant again for the next 6 months. Something very dear to them that they like to do, that they're going to feel the heat of it. Once they think of that, it's going to get them to start running. It's going to get you to start running. So you want to get somebody and say, these are the things I want to achieve. If I don't, this is the price I have to pay. And if I do, I reward myself. If I do, I reward myself. I'm going to take myself out. I'm going to go on a vacation. I'm going to purchase something nice for myself because I was able to achieve my goal. Okay? So leave this place and find someone to connect with that can. Don't find people that will rub your back or rub your shoulder and say, it's okay, you can do it tomorrow. No. Find people that will truly hold you accountable. People that want to see you win. People that will push you to win. Those are the people I want you to find. And reward yourself, like I said, along the way. Celebrate every milestone, no matter how small. As long as you had a timeline, you walked it and it happened. Celebrate yourself. Give yourself that tap. Say, I did it. And then let's continue going. Always reward yourself. Always reward yourself. Treat yourself to something nice. If you want to give yourself a spa date, give yourself a spa date, But find someone, if it's your husband or your wife, just someone that would truly hold you. I have a friend that I told I wanted to do something one time. And she said, when you're ready to start, let me know. I will hold you accountable. I didn't go back to her because I told myself, I said, if you go back to this one, if you don't do it, she's going to put fire on you, So I was like, okay, let me rethink this thing properly first. Right? But because we want to achieve everything that we've written out in 2025, I encourage you to be able to follow through. Okay. I encourage you to find somebody that will hold you accountable. So when we come on this webinar in November, we're going to be celebrating our wins. We're going to be celebrating our wins. I'm like, oh my God, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. Focus on progress, not perfection. Be flexible. Always look at your goals. What do I need to do? How do I need to tweak this? Is there something different I need to do to be able to improve on my current strategies? And if you need help, reach out to somebody and ask them, these are the strategies I have, and it looks like I'm failing. What do I need to do? How do I go about this? And I'm sure that if we follow all of these things through in 2025, we'll be able to truly achieve our goals and our dreams. And one of the things that I always say is that action is the antidote to procrastination. Action is the antidote to procrastination. So I know a lot of us struggle with procrastination, but it is time to take action and just do it. It doesn't matter. See, I said something on the call that day. If you're worried about your family members or your friends, block them. Find where they are and block them so they don't see you. If you're worried that they will laugh at you, I tell my kids all the time, I say, it's okay. If people want to laugh at you, it's okay. They can laugh all they want. But guess who is going to come celebrate you when you win? The same people that are laughing at you are the same people that will come celebrate you and say, I knew it. I knew that something good is good. Meanwhile, they actually said nothing good is going to come out from Nazareth. But now that something good came out from you, they will now want to associate themselves with you. So don't let what they think or what they say stop you. Get out of your head. Show up for the person you want to be, for your generation, for posterity's sake. Show up and do what needs to be done in 2025. God bless us all. Thank you. Coach Mo, back to you.
Wow, wow, wow. Everybody, please, can you give Coach P a round of applause, please? There's been too much wow, wow, wow. I'm doing wow, wow, wow. And you know, when you're hearing Hasbos yourself as well, and one of Hasbos came to Coach Mo, because Coach Mo likes to eat out, you know, the gym parts, you know, Holy Spirit will help us with that one. But it's been an amazing session. Please, if you what are the takeaways you have from here before I actually go ahead, because I think we're out of time, but we're just going to round up in the next 5 minutes thereabout. What are the key takeaways you have? Please, can you just put in the chat room? And while we're celebrating Coach P, thank you for that amazing, excellent content, amazing delivery. You really, really carried me through. I can say that for myself. So before I force the plan, I've got to check my execution first to make sure that the problem is not with execution. Most of the time, the problem is with execution. So you know something, while we're waiting for people to actually come up with their questions, there is block a time for strictly. Thank you for your needs. Block a time for strictly income generating activities only. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram does not count. I'm just checking it too because there's a book on there. I'm just checking the markets. I'm just checking to this thing does not count. That one hits home like, you know, whichever way. Action is the antidote for procrastination. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Yep. Download, stay free app. That one is very, very needed. Thank you so much for that. You know, while you were talking, just took me back to a book I read many months ago, and it's called Willpower by Roy Boymaster. And what the book talks about there is, do you actually know that every human being, we have a reservoir of willpower, and it is always very limited. So what it does there is, every time you make a decision, you withdraw from the willpower bank. And by the time you get to the end of the day, most of the time you've run out of willpower to actually draw from. And that is why most of the activities of failure to follow through happens mostly towards end of the day. Because by the time you get to end of the day, you have exhausted most of the willpower that enables you to make the right choice. Because while you've been frivolous, you've actually made unnecessary things that does not require decision making. And one of the examples was most of the successful people you know, there seems to be a consistency in what they wear. There was a time this Facebook guy is just going to wear his gray t-shirts. His blessed memory, the Apple guy, Steve Jobs, he just wears his jumper. Why? Michael Carroll, white t-shirt. Why? They don't want to exhaust decision making on what should I wear today, what should I wear tomorrow. If all my t-shirts are gray, it does not matter which one I pick. See, most of the time we exhaust unnecessary energy on what is on the 80% that is Pareto principle, whereby the thing that does not move any needle. What am I wearing today? Look, I'm not telling you not to lose coffee. Please, can we limit? That's why it's better to do. There's this book called Eat That Frog. That means do the most difficult things first. That is reinforcing there is your ability to actually use the willpower you have first thing in the morning. That's why I see most people, they go to the gym, they work out in the morning, they do most activities in the morning, because most of the time when you put the key things to end of the day, you have already exhausted your willpower. By the time you come to the end of the day, you have nothing left in the reservoir. And that is why we should be watching our weights around 9:30. We just leave to the fridge and we just open. And that willpower to say, no, I've just lost 100 calories my work, and I just had 2 slices of bread that puts on 600 calories and things like that. It's being able to understand the science to it, understand the need to do it. And that is just what I want to add to that. So before we go, Coach P, let's see if is there anyone who is either live on YouTube who's got a question, you type it out, or you're here, you've got any questions, can you please type out the question? Or if you want to ask live, she's here, please. For you to book one-on-one with her, I'm not going to tell you how much that's going to cost you. So she's here. You better draw out everything you can draw from her. Any questions at all from the audience at all? Team, anybody who's asking any question? While nobody's asking, I've got one question. Coach P, how do we deal with procrastination? See, this thing is it's so huge, whereby most people don't know it's procrastination. Now, the question there is procrastination a product of being lazy? Or is procrastination actually a product of fear? Because I've studied procrastination a lot, and I do struggle with it every now and then. I can get spouts of energy whereby I could run through a troop, break down a wall. And I could go through spells whereby I could barely write anything. And maybe there's somebody out there who is not struggling with procrastination. Honestly, you've got to tell us your secret power, your secret sauce. But I think a lot of us do struggle from that. And what are the tips you have in terms of practical tips? See, everybody says action. That one is big grammar. Practical tips that when we're going through the gears of procrastination, what are the things like? There's this thing I learned from somewhere that when you're angry, count 1 to 20 before you say anything. I practice that a lot and it works. My wife is a guinea pig, so anytime I'm about to get angry with a driver, she just notices I've gone quiet. She does not know I'm counting 1 to 20 inside of me, so I don't say what I'm not supposed to say. So I don't sleep on the couch. So it's there's some things whereby you've got some practical steps that they've helped you a lot. So what are your tips? That's worked for you, that you've read about, that you think if people could try them, it could work.
One of the things that have really worked for me, because again, it's not just you, procrastinator. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like there was a time in my life where I barely did nothing. I would sit down to do something, but at the end of the day, I don't do nothing. So one of the things I started doing was I would come in and say, okay, patience, let's do just 2 hours of work today. Only 2. My mind now will feel like, well, there's 24 hours in the day. Only 2 hours of work will not kill us now, Abby. So I'll just tell myself, just 2 hours of work. And the 2 hours of work, I'm not going to go through it. I'm going to do 40 minutes and then take 10 minutes break. And so that was one major thing that helped me, to be honest with you. So when I come, I set my phone in a way where I can't touch it. I turn it off. I put it aside. I pull up work that I need to do, and I get through it. But I set a timer. So once it's 40 minutes, I'm like, you have reached. I stop and I go on Facebook, waste 10 minutes, do nothing, and then come back and do it. And then once I'm done for 2 hours, I'm like, somehow in my head, I'll say, but it wasn't that bad. I can actually do another hour. So practically, that's one thing that has helped me. Just telling myself that I can do 2 hours of work and I'll block out. And if you're starting, practically tell yourself you want to do 20 minutes of work. Don't do 40 minutes. Just tell yourself, I want to do just 20 minutes of work. Put everything aside. Sometimes you will drag yourself, but because you know it's just 20 minutes, you tell yourself, it won't kill me now. 20 minutes is just 20 minutes. So sit down, do 20 minutes, and it's okay. Shebi, you want to go on IG and look at people. Carry your phone, go on IG, set a timer. Once that 10 minutes is over, drop it, come back and do 20 minutes of work. Imagine if you had not done 20 minutes of work 4 times, you wouldn't have achieved an hour of work at all that day because you will procrastinate the whole day. So gradually, that 60 minutes of work you've done consistently will make a difference. So that's one practical tip that, to be honest with you, has helped me. And another way that I handle procrastination sometimes is I stay in my bed, right? I procrastinate and stay in my bed. Sometimes my friends are like, why is it dark where you are at? I'm like, because I'm still in my bed. I haven't left my bed yet. So I tell myself, Patience, get up, go take a bath. I go take a bath, and then I come here, I sit down, and I say, let me just do something. So I keep everything aside. Again, I'm not looking to do 10 hours of work. You know, people like Coach Mo, they can do 10 hours of work stretch. Me, I can't do 10 hours of work. So I just tell myself, let me come here and do just 1 hour. So you have to keep it moving. And then ask yourself, really, remember what I told you about closing your eyes and visualizing what your year should look like. That is one thing that will help you. When you're dealing with procrastination, close your eyes and just envision it for a minute. If I don't do anything, would I have that extra 1,000 naira in my account? Or will I have that extra 10,000 naira in my account? If I don't do anything, my life will look exactly the same way it is right now in the next 6 months. Once you're able to see that, it will get you going. Another thing you want to do is, people talk about your why, right? Beyond your why, find what is most important to you, what excites you. What is it that excites you? What is it that drives you? I have certain things that if you poke me, I will just start. You can't even stop it. Those are the things that excite me. If Coach Mo says, Coach P, stay here and talk for the next 2 hours, I will continue to talk. I will not be tired. That is my happy place, right? So what is your happy place? Find a way to link it to what you're doing, and it will help you to get going. You won't get bored easily. You won't get tired easily. You won't get burnt out easily. So find that happy place. It might be a struggle for you to find it, but I encourage you to find that happy place. If you're able to find it, it's going to help you deal with procrastination, but don't beat yourself over it. We all go through it every now and then, but we'll keep showing up and we'll try to execute consistently rather. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I love that part whereby link that thing, link the gulf between what you like to do and what you have to do, being able to link them together closes the gap and find a way to link it. That actually makes a lot of sense to me in terms of, oh, thank you. So that now goes back to you understanding your purpose to start with, basically. So definitely, and you being able to visualize and say, if I want to eat out in the next couple of weeks, I got to get this done. The carrot and the steak. Thank you for that. Yeah,
Yes, sorry.
that's great.
Somebody asked a
Go ahead.
question, what if it's just work you don't want to do? Then why are you doing work you don't want to do? Why are you doing work you don't want to do? You don't want to do it, don't do it. Find work that you want to do. Find work that excites you. If it's just for the purpose of paying the bills, then please go and do work that you don't want to do. But the most important thing is, while you're doing work that you don't want to do, find work that needs to be done. Okay? While you're doing work that you don't want to do, find what you really want to do and enjoy doing and start working on it on the side so that gradually it can replace the one that you don't want to do. Because I'm an advocate of not doing what you don't want to do. You will get frustrated. We can't even get the best of you if you're doing what you don't enjoy to do. You cannot express your full potential doing what you don't want to do or what you don't enjoy doing. So find work that needs to be done, work that you enjoy doing, and let's work on building that. And with this social media age, trust me, it's not going to take you time to find what you enjoy doing and build on it and become a better version of yourself consistently.
Thank you so much. So for those that we're doing what you don't like to do, because we got to pay some bills we need to pay, please do what you have to do. Do what you don't like to do while you are also doing what you have to do, basically. So you begin to build capacity for what you like to do when you have to do what you have to do. I hope I'm not confused everybody. But please, I've confused you, please. Reach out to Coach P. Coach P, please. I know you have you just finished an amazing mastermind. Can you tell us quickly about that? can you share the details of how people can actually follow you? A lot of people have more questions for how they can actually, get to know your community, get to see how they can actually take this next. Of course, you are just beginning to scratch, the paper. You've not gone to mindset. You've not gone to all those dimensions whereby, where your true calling is. So can you tell us a bit quickly about the masterclass you just finished? I think you said another one is coming up. And also, how do we get to follow you? We know you have materials, from all over the place there. How do we get your materials and all of that? I can see quite some people are thinking it and saying, you want to take this to the next level with Coach P. How do we do that?
Okay, thank you so much, Coach Mo. So you find me on social media at The Patient Stanko, or my company, Well Builder Systems. We're on social media as well, Well Builder Systems. We did a masterclass recently, an amazing, amazing masterclass. It was supposed to be the free one that I felt led to do on monetization, how you can take what you know and turn it into a cash flow. I truly believe that we all have something that we can monetize, and you don't have to be an expert to teach somebody. All you should be willing to do is show them the results you got for yourself. There's somebody that wants to see your result. They want the same transformation you got for yourself. You just need to be a step ahead of the person you're teaching to be able to monetize. And if you've been doing something for so long at your full-time job where they've been paying you, it's time to take that thing and take it out there and make extra cash, right? So I did a masterclass on that, taking you from idea to income, idea to cash flow, from expertise skills to cash flow. It was awesome. I'm thinking of doing one more within the week. I've not decided when, but again, I'm sure Coach Mo will share it when we have that up, but within the week or by next weekend, we should do the last free class. And afterwards, it's usually $97 per masterclass, but we're doing it for free just to help you monetize what you know, to bring in that extra source of income. And if you're looking to learn about how money works, just to heal your money trauma and have a better relationship with money, you can also find me and ask me your questions, and I'll be happy to answer you. Coach Mo, you've put me on the spot. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Coach. It's not about putting you on the spot because you've delivered so much to us tonight, and I tell people that, look, anytime you listen to somebody, you hear them speak, trust me, you will not remember. Science is proving, and you will remember less than 15% of what has been dished out. And for whatever what they've given to you, they've only given you a droplet of the capacity they're carrying. So if you really want to actually take this to the next level, we've got in the chat there how to follow Coach P, Coach Patience Tanko on Instagram. I believe from the Instagram, she's got that link tree there where you can then find her on Slack. You can find her on, I think our bookstores, our courses are on a few platforms as well, where you can find her there. I think before we finish in the next 2 minutes, probably she might post the link for you to be able to, find our link tree there for you to be able to follow her, get our resources. And thank you very much, Coach P. Trust me, we're going to be bringing Coach P back. I've not told her this, so I'm throwing her under the bus right in front of everybody. We have an annual event called She Wealth, so we had the first She Wealth last year. Is just bringing in the chief of the industries together and let them share the knowledge in terms of how have they been able to navigate the multi-dimensional capacity and ability of being a woman and the dimension of the wealth of being a woman together to be successful. Trust me, it's not easy being a woman. That one I can tell, without you having to be a woman to do this. So we've got an event called the She Wealth later in the year. We're going to be bringing you, so you might still see Coach P maybe 1 or 2 more times on Power to Know, who knows. So on behalf of everybody from the Power to Know team, I'm saying a big thank you to Coach T. Please, can we say a big thank you to Coach Patience, everybody in the chat room? If you feel you've actually benefited, you've taken something away, she's nourished you somehow in terms of your mental dexterity today, please can you show some appreciation to her? She's taking her time to church to be able to do this. Sunday is when everybody gets to sit down and relate to the family. She's given us this time. Coach P, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate the gift of God in you and how you actually bring that to the marketplace. The challenges when it comes to consistently posting video. There was a time we went off for a meal and we're talking, and I keep sending our videos to my team that see somebody posting video every day. Coach Mo, when are you going to get to this place of being able to, so your consistency and you've actually given me a right challenge to see that we've got to be out there. We overfed with the word. We have more than enough words. It's time to take that word to the marketplace and people to hear that which you've been called to dish out. So on behalf of the Power to Know team, I'm saying a big thank you for Patience once again, and to all our guests, thank you very much. I wish I could go through all the names at Tinuke, Dominique, Dumo, Emmanuel, Feluke. Now my pastor is in the house, Pastor King Tijani. I celebrate you, Kingsley, Kunle, Mofe, Faith, my boss too is online as well, Jimmy, Opayemi, Sylvia, and Taiwo. Thank you very much. And to everyone who is actually on YouTube right now that I couldn't see you, I couldn't call your name. I truly celebrate you all and thank you. We're going to be back again, same time, end of February, with another guest and with another amazing topic. But until then, stay tuned, follow us on all the social media channels, and whatever you do, remember God first. God bless. And see you, everyone. Thank you, Coach P. I'll see you all again. God bless.